Okay, so basically you're saying how do we keep that etheric link to our ancestors even though we're born in different bodies?
No, he's saying, say for instance you die.
Say, too.
Right, okay, as it is now, you're linked to your mothers, and your mother and father, their mother and father, so on. That's yours.
My generation.
Yeah, your etheric link.
Okay.
He's saying if you die and move on and you're born in another body, will you still have the same etheric links to your...
Oh, okay. So, once again, back to dimensional shift. From what I'm hearing, that would be like a form of reincarnation. Whereas though when we transitioned, originally we didn't reincarnate. We ascended to 24. We didn't reincarnate 24 different times. Okay. So I'm still trying to. That was kind of a long question. I'm still trying to really get the.
I can read it again. Maybe it'll sink in. He wants.
Hold on. Let's see. He says, the seal or block of the curse, which blocked the Stargate portal, created the problem, and you trusting then with your ba'a, with the incarnation process, and for the physical incarnates on Earth. Because of the seal, the Negroid race and the race memory is gone. It was wiped out of the crystal skulls or Earth's cellular memory of 24,000 years. African are unable to remember who and what they are, or where they came from, their life purpose, or where they are going on the evolutionary surat, the path, the filament. So the African race is now entering a new cycle with no memory of their identity. This knowledge was recorded and stored on the crystal skulls activated by the crystal-headed staff, and the staff could be accessed only by a pure being. The seal on the earth in a frequency quarantine of F-flat, F major, and F sharp was done with music or singing, disconnecting us from earth tone or galactical family. That time has ended. If you get back in tune with your planet given to you by Pa Natharu, it's time for our dimensional shift. Are you ready? Izamar, you wanna pick up on that question? I'm gonna pass the class to Brother Atum Hutip.
Hey, repeat that question one more time for me. I don't like I get the full grasp of it real quick. And it's the reason why I'm explaining why he read this real quick.
Okay, here you go. He says, as Nagaru make their transition to higher life forms or take on new bodies, leaving this physical world behind and being born through new parents, how do we maintain our link or connection to our previous relatives or parents if we are born to new mothers and fathers? Do we simply build new connections to different mothers and fathers and relatives? You understand?
Yeah, I got you. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. Trying to find the book page. There, but hold up. Let me see, where is it at? Should be okay. Here, go right there. All right. You got to understand with this is going to go on with his question earlier with the dark matter, about the black holes, right, or the dark energy, right? You got to understand that in our doctrine, the further you go back, everything comes mouth to ear. It wasn't no written document, and what they got, when the Caucasian got, they couldn't understand. They made it mystical or spooky, right? Dark energy is dealing with the dark matter of the universe. All dark matter is what you call Papa-Ut. The all expanded. There's no. You can't take from the all. You can't add to the all. What happened was certain dark energies that came out of dark matter started slowing down vibration. It became flesh and blood. That's why in the last class, when we had class, I don't know who's here, right? You had a sum of things that came from no things, because you measure everything by weight, right? So the height H1, H2 is the lightest elements, you know what I'm saying, on the periodic chart, because it has a certain type of weight that takes in the space of matter. But see, you have other elements like quartz and BAA'BAH, right? That's not have no type of weight. So that will be a none, no things, or nothing. That's why in the old Ansar doctrine, when the master teachers used to say back in a book called "For Man, for Planetarists and Science of Healing," he said Allah Subhanahu wa Taala created a state of nothingness to create something. But people didn't understand. When you say nothing, you think like out of the air. But it's always something existing. If I move my hand like that, like our master teacher said back in the day, you're smashing molecules, you feel what I'm saying, in the air, but you just don't see it because is so small, you don't realize what you're doing. You're saying, you call that nothing, but people got caught in Casper the Friendly Ghost or the mystical stuff. Nothing, like I just created a hamburger out of nowhere. You know what I mean? That's the mind state of the spell that got you under. So the vibration in the tones and frequencies, right? Everything in the universe vibrates. Vibration causes what? Waves. Waves create what? Frequency. Frequency create what? Sounds. Feel me? Everything is interconnected by tone, vibration, you know what I'm saying? So different dark energy with vibrates at such a slow pace, you became a physical being. That's why in the first chapter of the Holy Tablet, that these melanated beings that were created came down and became flesh and blood. Because they was in an etheric form, in that air pockets when they created the universe, going to what my brother said earlier, how a brain or a mind created the earth. It was created the blueprint of something that was nothing that brought into something. You feel me? That it was created on the etheric level, and it became a physical level on the other side of the periodic chart, from E1 to E2 to H1 to H2. You feel me? So when he was reading this right here, it was wiped out of the crystal cave. Every time that we incarnated, right, or go into another planet, all your memory and every experience that you had will be downloaded onto a crystal skull. I mean, dealing on this planet right here, or any other place that you want to. The master teacher said they will download your information, which was outformation, and it came information on whatever planet that you were in at the time. The reason why we don't remember now, because those scrolls have been erased, so they can be able to put you under a certain spell as a Lulu Amalu, like with the Adamite race, where you don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But the key to get back to the mental reservoir is to learn your tones from the Wapic, like I said earlier. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with parents, get that out of your mind. Because this is the spell that you got under. As a Riskian, you had the same genetic makeup. There was no male or female. What you call parents is on a totally different level as what you are dealing with here in the physical. You feel me? So everything was a part of all, and all was a part of that. You mean? When you say parent, you're looking for that emotional connection with my mom and pop. You feel me? But it's not like that. You're dealing with energy that begets energy that begets energy. You feel me? So everything is connected. But we want a personal one. Like the master teacher said, heaven will be a busy place. Because then when you die, I'm looking for my mother, but then your mother look for her mother. And it's chaos. Anybody remember that back in the days? You know what I'm saying? So this is part of the spell. Once we get back to that, you're past emotions, you pass certain things. Well, like, it's not a parent thing, it's a etheric thing. Because remember, the master teacher said uniform, even though, I don't know if anybody remember this. Remember in the book, I think it was Khalil Gibran. The master teacher said, your children aren't from you, they come through you. Once you understand that science, then you understand that you don't get caught up in the parent. Because this is my child, but it's not. That's your physical, genetic, but it's not your soul or the spirit or the Aka or the Ba or the ether does not come from you. It comes from the universe. You feel me? But you want to have a connection because you see a flesh and blood being that you gave birth to in the physical plane, and you want to claim it as your own, and when it doesn't do what you want, oh, you're not my child. You don't act nothing like me. You don't. But you got to understand, they don't come from you, they come through you. Did that answer your question? Any other questions?